A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Former Marine from Texas freed from Russian custody. Earlier this week, news broke that a former Marine from Texas had been released from the custody of the Russian government.
The former Marine, who was in Russian custody, is believed to have tuberculosis and was suffering from the effects of a Soviet-era espionage program. His family has been fighting for his release from the custody of the Russian government.
This article will discuss Reed's release from Russian custody, his family's campaign to bring him home, and the reaction of President Biden to his release. Trevor Reed's release from Russian custody.
The release of former Submarine Trevor Reed from Russian custody comes amid the Kremlin's war against Ukraine.
Reed, 30, was arrested in Russia in 2019 and sentenced to 9 years in prison on charges of assaulting a police officer. Reed's family argues he was innocent and he was unfairly imprisoned.
In an interview with CNN, his father said that the prisoner's swap took place in Turkey after Russian invasion of Ukraine triggered a flurry of calls from his parents.
His father, Joey Reed, told reporters that his son was likely suffering from tuberculosis. He also revealed that Reed had suffered a broken rib.
The family's protests outside the White House resulted in President Obama meeting with Reed's parents. The Russian invasion triggered the flurry of calls to the Russian government, and the White House called on Russia to release Reed.
The release of Reed is a big victory for the U.S. government. The former college student was jailed for 9 years in a Russian prison colony in February 2017.
He was detained while visiting his girlfriend in Moscow, and authorities accused him of grabbing the arm of a police officer as he was being transported to the police station. His parents contested the police account, but they were unable to get him released until this week.
While the family is celebrating, the U.S. government has not gotten a fair shake from the Kremlin. The Russian government argues that Reed was not physically restrained, and has been convicted in an unfair trial.
While Reed's release from Russian custody is a victory for the American people, the case has become a political football. While it is important to note that Reed's release isn't the first American citizen to be released from Russia, there have been other cases in recent months that have also been released from Russia.
As the family and the United States celebrate the release of their son, the parents of the young Marine are also celebrating the event. The family has expressed gratitude to Vice President Joe Biden and other administration officials for bringing the former Marine home.
The family has also commended former US Ambassador to the United Nations, Bill Richardson, who traveled to Russia to meet with Russian authorities before the war in Ukraine began.
The family also worked with Jonathan Franks, who had worked on other high-profile releases including Michael White. His father believes he has tuberculosis.
A former Marine from Texas has launched a hunger strike, protesting the conditions of his prisoner of war condition. His father believes Reed may have contracted tuberculosis while in Russia.
He said that during his time in prison, he coughed up blood and broke a rib. However, he was reassigned to solitary confinement, and the Russian government denies knowing that he has the disease.
The former Marine's parents, Trevor and Jody Reed, say they have been in touch with their son via phone indirectly, that is. They have said that their son has received no medical care while in detention in Russia, and that the Russian authorities have lied several times about his condition.
The family has been asking the government of the United States for answers regarding the situation. The government of Turkey has granted permission for a prisoner exchange with a Russian drug smuggler, who is serving a 12-year sentence in the U.S.
A senior US official said the deal was made in Turkey after bipartisan support in the Senate.
The government also updated its website to reflect Reed's release. This is an important step to take as the former Marine's health condition has worsened in prison.
While the United States and Russia are focused on the case of one American citizen in Russia, the two nations also are trying to free another American, Paul Whelan. Whelan, a former Marine, was jailed in Russia in February on espionage charges.
However, the United States has imposed sanctions on Russia following the release of his son. A U.S. ambassador referred to the allegation as preposterous and called the conviction a gross miscarriage of justice.
Regardless of his diagnosis, a Moscow court convicted Reed on a false claim and sentenced him to 9 years in a Russian prison colony. The trial was delayed until July because of the lack of medical care.
His family's campaign to bring him back to the United States. A campaign launched by the Reed family to free their brother has gained bipartisan support in the U.S.
Embassy in Moscow has been an advocate for Reed, but his family wants more urgency from the Biden administration.
State Department officials have maintained that they are working on Reed's case every day. It's not clear what the Biden administration will do to free his brother.
Until now, he's been held in captivity in the Russian Federation for more than 5 years. President Obama has met with the Reed family, thanking them for their persistence.
But he also met with the Reed family's lawyer and former ambassador to the United Nations, Bill Richardson. Both families said they felt cautious optimism after the meeting.
And the president, of course, apologized to the family for putting their son in danger. The Reed family is unsure how long they will have to fight the situation, but they are determined not to give up.
After spending nearly 3 years in a Russian prison, Trevor Reed has no memory of his arrest. He is accused of assaulting police officers.
His family claims that he was only a few weeks away from returning to Texas. In addition to his lack of memory, he has been incarcerated in Moscow since his arrest.
His trial has been marred by contradictory statements from the Moscow police and the Russian equivalent of the CIA, the U.S.
Government has discredited the involvement while the family's campaign is largely focused on the plight of Trevor Reed. The efforts are aimed at drawing attention to the plight of other American citizens in Russia.
2 other former CIA employees, Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan, were arrested in Moscow on suspicion of espionage. The Russian authorities have also denied the allegations against them.
Meanwhile, a Russian pilot convicted in Connecticut, Konstantin Yaroshenko, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for a drug conspiracy in 2009. A year after being arrested in Liberia, he was extradited to the United States.
However, the Russian government had previously hinted that they may exchange Yaroshenko for an American citizen held in their prisons. President Biden's reaction to his release.
The decision to free Mr. Reed from Russia was met with intense public pressure.
His family claims that Russian prison officials have mistreated the former U.S. Marine, and last week he went on a hunger strike.
His family has urged the Biden administration to intervene urgently to free their son, but the White House has yet to respond to their calls.
President Biden's reaction to the release of Trevor Reed from Russian prison reveals a conflict of interest. The White House has acknowledged that the negotiations resulting in Reed's release were a difficult one.
The decision to release Reed came amid an ongoing conflict between the United States and Russia. However, the US government has refused to acknowledge the shame factor in the situation, and President Biden's reaction to the release of Mr.
Reed reflects a bipartisan approach to solving difficult diplomatic issues. President Biden's reaction to Trevor Reed reflects a common concern that many Americans have about the detained American.
A former Marine, Reed was imprisoned in Russia on suspicion of spying. However, his family maintains that the charges against him are false and that he was simply visiting Russia to see his longtime girlfriend and study the Russian language.
A resolution in the U.S. House has called for Reed's release.
Following President Biden's meeting with Reed's parents, Biden reiterated his commitment to secure the release of American citizens and to provide assistance until all of them are free. Earlier, Biden had spoken by phone to Mr.
Reed's parents. During the meeting, Biden stressed his commitment to helping Americans freed from foreign prisons.
If he is not able to free the detainees, he will not hesitate to seek help in the international arena. Reed family thanked thus
Embassy in Moscow for their advocacy of Reed's release. They also credited Biden for his role in bringing their son home.
The case has been raising awareness about the plight of American citizens in Russia. Former WNBA star Brittany Griner was detained in Moscow in February after a search revealed a cannabis derivative in her bag.